making it rhyme in the ring at the moment.
Yes, he's doing everything right. Just needs to keep nice and relaxed. Don't try and rush things too much. The jab's working well. Just look for this point where he can slot that right hand in.
And Wise gets in with a right hand of his own, left himself a little bit open as he did so. There's a nice controlled look about Khaliq. Now he's caught with the right hand. Seemed to take it okay.
He's finding Wise very easy to hit, especially with that jab. Keeps rocking the head back of Wise.
And a good uppercut as well. This is class from Jawaid Khaliq so far. Proving something of a revelation. The former Brendan Ingle fighter. Brendan taught him plenty, but he wasn't getting too many opportunities there, he says. Now with Chris Aston. Well, what a start for Khaliq here. Jason Shinfield, of course, also, as well as Chris Aston in the corner. That Shinfield, that was the punch that really did it. Then the rest of it, he got in a couple more, head and body, but then he sort of bundled him down.
Yes, he'd never really recovered. You know, he was weak. The legs were weak.
More than 100 punches thrown in the round. To be chatting over between the rounds. Tom Malloy and Hoge Gallagher, the team with Willy Wise tonight. Round 5. And they must have told Wise that he's probably lost everything so far.
Yes, he hasn't done in this fight at all. Look at the way Khaliq starts this round. Wise has got to up the tempo. He's got to start trying to crowd Khaliq, take the play away from him. The only way to do that is do more work.
We have evidence to the contrary, but at the moment. Oh, big left hand, and that's the biggest shot yet for Wise. It's hurt Khaliq. He's in reverse gear for a moment, and he wrestles Wise over in fairly unceremonious fashion.
Well, there's a mark of a measure of the physical strength of Khaliq there, even if he is a little bit shaken up by that punch, still strong enough to throw Wise over.
Just looking a bit more circumspect now. The cut is quite a bad one that Khaliq has gotten. To emphasise the point again, if that stops the fight, Wise will be the winner. They won't go to the scorecards.
Well, that cut looks as if it's got significantly worse.
Suddenly there's trouble brewing for Khaliq now. I think it's undermined his confidence a little bit as well, Khaliq. He's in a big lead on the cards, he must be.
Wise just getting closer now, starting to get to Khaliq again.
Just a little twist in the story here in round 6. And that is a nasty cut. We think it was caused by a clash of heads, but the referees ruled it was caused by a punch, and that's all that matters. Can Khaliq get through another 6 rounds with that injury?
Good left hook from Khaliq there, still trying to put some pressure on Wise.
Well, it's dramatic in its own way. Well, that's cut is a problem over there. This man to try to sort things out. There was that left hand.
Yes, that was the best punch so far from Wise. That really did stagger Khaliq. Khaliq just coming and walking onto it a bit. And that just made the power that much greater.
Let's go back to the previous round. This is what we think caused the cut. Bang! I think there's not much doubt about it, but they've said it was a punch that caused it.
Well, it was a definite clash of heads. You can see it just there.
Round 9. I've got Khaliq 5 points ahead.
Yes, exactly the same as my card. But his confidence back after a little bit of a crisis when that cut occurred.
Wise down in round 2, if you're late tuning into this one. The American, slick Willy Wise, hasn't looked so slick here. Khaliq hasn't let him. He's kept him on the end of the jab most of the night. You He's confused him. And he's hit too hard as well. It's been pretty comprehensive, in fact. The only real problem for Khaliq in the fight so far has been the cut eye.
Really has shown a good boxing brain in this fight, Khaliq. You know, he's really worked things out right. Hasn't took chances, used the jab to excellent effect.
Wise just can't find a way inside. Just clips Khaliq with a little left hand on the way in that time. And I remind you that the bookmakers had Wise as the 2-to-1 on favourite for this fight. Doesn't look like that at the moment. It looks like Khaliq's about 5-6-to-1 on. Good right hand. Wise troubled again. This is the performance so far of Jawaid Khaliq's career.
Well, it means an awful lot to him to try and get this title. As minor as it might be, it's still an awful lot of great left.
Got it again, left hook. Super shot. And he's finding it pretty easy to hit this American. Wise hasn't made big money out of this title. In fact, he still has to work 10 hours a day as a forklift truck driver in New York. 2 drivers in there, forklifts be taxis.
Well, it's the taxi driver who's doing everything. He's the one on the money at the moment.
Good lateral movement too from Khaliq. All that training, that hill work he does, paying off for him as we get late into the fight. Nottingham crowd absolutely absorbed in this. Expectant, wondering if their man can go on to provide a famous Nottingham victory. Another round in the bank for Khaliq, who's miles clear now. Just look at his fans. Khaliq 3 minutes away from what would be the biggest triumph of a fast improving career. Just a question now of him keeping it sensible, keeping out of trouble and holding on, or so you'd think anyway. Of course, we'll have to wait for the judges' cards. He's really got to go for it Wise here, fighting away from home. And the crowd, I think, have helped Khaliq tonight. Of course, they can't get in there with him, but I think they've just given him that little bit of extra confidence that he needed all the way through it.
Yes, they've given that little bit of edge, but his concentration has been tremendous throughout this fight. Hasn't made many mistakes at all. That jab has worked so well.
Calm, controlled, and he's very slick on his feet when he goes backwards out of range for such a big man. He's more or less beaten Wise at every turn, every phase of it. He's even been quicker than him. He's hit harder. He's had height and reach advantages. He's been more positive. He's imposed his style on the fight. He hasn't let Wise in. Not really. And the American has looked increasingly frustrated. And I think his self-belief has gone. He doesn't look like he believes he can win now.
Well, right from that second round with a big right hand, that took everything out of Wise.